two really interesting presenters today. If you've ever wondered about bringing an idea for a product all the way to fruition inside of the marketplace, these gentlemen have definitely done that, and we're going to learn about that. We obviously do not discriminate on the types of businesses that come here. Oftentimes, people think that this is just for tech, but these are actual physical products today that we're going to take a look at, and I'm anxious to ask them how they brought that from an idea to a product, and then a product all the way to market. And we are closing the doors in, so you guys are all stuck today for the first time ever. The regular format, for those of you who have never been here, 6 to 8 minute presentation, and then we will do Q&A. Chad and I will be running on the sides with microphones, so just raise your hand or stand up, and we will come over to you and hand you a microphone, and there's no wrong questions. If you have any comments, concerns, that's obviously what we're all here for, is to help grow these businesses. And whether it's just a quick comment or a quick question that maybe they weren't thinking about, just let them know. And so we'll turn it over to our first speaker, Don Chisholm, with JDon Product Design.
Morning. Is it on? Okay. Again, thank you, $1 Million Cups, for allowing us to come and do a presentation. What we have here is a product that is called an expandable fire block. And everybody has fire blocks of some sort in their house. Normally, in any construction project, they're made out of garbage 2x4s or 2x6s. They have they stop the draft, and they slow down a fire progression in a house in the outside walls. Up here we have a model showing how it fits in between the studs. And normally, when a carpenter is building a house, he will have somebody, he'll be on a scaffold, he'll have somebody else on the ground. He will measure the distance between the studs because they're never the same. The fellow on the ground will take a piece of 2x4, cut it, give it to the gentleman that's up on the scaffold, and he will nail it into place. So you have two people doing the same job, basically putting in a fire block. With our fire block, which is made out of metal and it's adjustable, it slides apart, that one carpenter on the scaffold can get on the scaffold and have a box of them. He places it in between the studs, it separates, he nails it in with a nail gun, boom, boom, and he's done. The other way of doing it, it takes him probably 7 to 8 minutes to do it. Here you're doing it in less than a minute it can be done. So you have a labor savings two ways. One in the length of time that it takes to do it. The second is in the fact that you're using just one carpenter. Now we've had this tested. We took it to the University of Maryland, who specializes in fire safety, and they did extensive testing on it. With a normal 2x4, this will outlast the 2x4 in a fire for about an hour and 10 to 20 minutes longer than the 2x4, thus giving the fire department that much more time to get there and put out the fire. But at the same time, because it had slowed down the fire so much, it also is a safety factor for the firemen themselves. They're not going to be falling through a second-story floor because it burned out and they didn't know it. They got there in plenty of time. Forgive me, my mind's gone blank at the excitement of all these people here. Please note that we have knockouts in it so that an electrician can follow the carpenter, come in, he can run his electric wires, and he's not disturbing anything. Today with a stud, when they drill the hole, usually there's insulation around the stud. They'll pull the stud out, they'll drill the hole, they'll run their wire, and they'll walk away. They never bother to put the insulation back. Also, this is stopping the draft entirely. Jeff, can you add to what I've said, please?
The only thing I can think of, it does have 2 tabs on the side, which helps with the alignment and a lot faster installation. Those align it on the stud so that you don't get out into the sheetrockers area and goof them up. A lot of everything where there is any code, they require the fire blocking. A lot of the more lenient codes will also allow insulation to be used as a fire block, which will slow down the flame, but it doesn't ever stop the draft. And I worked on a lot of construction sites where even after the inspector has walked through the job, you might have some smaller things that are also going to be done, some small changes in that, where I've observed people taking the insulation out, laying it aside, doing their job, and it may or may not get put back in, and it's already been inspected. The fire safety aspect for the firemen also, is you put this in the wall, say below where this softened area is over here, if it burnt through, or if it wasn't in there at all, or possibly had been taken out if it was insulation, it could burn up into that soffit, down the soffit this way, across this joist space, up the stud space, and be in your child's bedroom burning when the source of the fire actually looks like it's from down here. And that's how a lot of your firemen fighting fires a lot of times will be injured. They'll walk into a room like that to check for a child, fall through the floor. Other than that, that pretty much covers that. On the knockouts, when the electrician would run their wire through there, then they would be required to go with some fire caulking around the electrical knockouts.
Let's open it up for question and answer. Thank you.
Thank you.
So did you invent the technology?
Actually, Jeff thought of the idea, and we worked together on it.
So tell me about what the development process, how you patent it, I assume.
Well, being in the sheet metal trade myself, I've had to do fire blocking on some of the union jobs, and it's just a pain in the rear end to go through the process. So I came up with a quicker, faster way. Pardon?
Do you mind standing up so the camera can catch it?
Sorry. I came up with a quicker and faster way, and also with friends of mine that are architects and contractors, builders that are in the trade. It is a pain to go back through and fire block these things with wood. And so that was another reason I thought, well, hey, I can do something better than that and faster than that. So we went on one day. I had done work for Don. He brought something that he was wanting to run with to me. And we put our heads together, and I said, hey, take a look at this, Don. We did it. We have a patent pending on it now, and that's about where we're at.
After the first step of the two of us talking about it and deciding that we had a good idea, I met with the fire department in Camden County and Osage Beach, and I met with the building inspectors to get an opinion from people that were professionals in the field. Once I had talked to them, then I went to a fire engineer who was a gentleman out of Kansas City who was known internationally, and his suggestion was then to get it tested. Well, we sent it to the University of Maryland, as we've already said, and they did the testing, and it took them about 4 months of testing it, and these are people that's all they do all day long is specialize in testing. And if we have somebody that wants to take time to look at the test results, we do have a copy of them here also.
We have a 7-plex that has balloon framing that we're going to have to fire block. How familiar are the city inspectors going to be with this product locally, Springfield area? was the first question. Second would be supply lines, where we can get it, and costs.
At this point, we don't have it manufactured. We're looking for manufacturing to get the cost down. Therefore,
It's not a big-
building inspectors are not going to know about it here or anyplace else. We're right in the forefront of getting to that point.
What do you anticipate the cost to a contractor would be?
We're kind of hoping, it's always been my thought that we would want to get it in there at about $6 per unit or less. And that kind of ties in with your hurricane clips, strapping, joist hangers, and that sort of thing. It would run close to the same price there.
In a standard home, you're probably going to use somewhere in the range of 90 to 100 of them. And therefore, you're not adding an awful lot of cost.
So you mentioned that you had some testing done in the University of Maryland. We've had storm shelter guys in here. We've had subfloor guys who are more or less advertising the same fire safety benefits. Tell, for any adventurers in the audience who are considering developing something like this, tell us what the process of approaching a university and then bringing them your product and how the testing and the validation goes into the safety.
When we met with the fire engineer out of Kansas City, he had connections with the University of Maryland and is on their board of directors. So therefore, that put us right in the front door. We were very fortunate that way.
That was Pool Fire Safety Company, and so we contracted him to do the testing.
Hey, Don, can you tell us a little bit about JDon Product Design? So I'm assuming that that's the company that owns this product. And is this the first product that that company has produced? Do you guys do anything else besides this particular product?
This is the first one for JDon. I have another product that I've been marketing for a number of years. It's a float to keep dock cables out of the water, and that's marketed in Missouri, Oklahoma, a couple other places. It's called Cable Dry. It's a float that looks like the American Red Cross in shape, and it makes the cables on docks last for a number of years, so they're not replacing them all the time.
So once you figure out the manufacturing process and the cost, where would a contractor be able to purchase this? Have you thought about the sales outlets for that?
We're hoping the distribution would be through all the box stores, Lowe's, Home Depot, your standard run-of-the-mill lumberyard.
And are you looking for access to those markets? Are you looking for somebody here in the audience to help you with those distribution channels, or are you delving down that road already?
Well, what we have in mind, and primarily my age is a fact on it. We would like to find somebody that we could license to market it and distribute it, or we would sell it outright and take royalties on the product over a period of time.
Don, you're asking for finding a reliable manufacturer. Have you taken into consideration the fact that if you find somebody that likes this idea, it's probably going to go pretty quick on you? Have you thought about the growth of how fast that could possibly happen for you? Because you're talking about doing something that everyone in the construction industry is going to know will cut their labor time so much that it'll pay for itself 20 times over the first day you use it. So have you thought about that initial blast of growth that is going to hit this once it does hit the market, and what you're going to do about it when it does?
The manufacturer that's going to manufacture it wants to manufacture it in quantities of 10,000 units. They can produce units day in and day out. Getting a supply would not be an issue.
So you already have a manufacturer in place?
We have a couple companies that we're talking to.
That, for the most part, is another reason that we would like to sell it outright or license it, because Don and I are not really prepared for that next big jump like that, not at this time.
Hi, Jeff.
Hey, Matt.
How's it going? What have you guys came up with a name or brand for it? I mean, it's obviously a cool product, but if you're going to license it, I think that's part of the cachet in it. You know, that it actually has a sort of name that.
Actually, the name is expandable fire block. Other than that, I wouldn't know how to answer that question.
This is a really great idea. People love, anything that can help anybody or make anything safer. My only question is, have you guys thought about educating the market on this and how you're going to do that? Because, this is kind of a different way of thinking about doing this. It's a safer and better way, but it seems like this is a product that people aren't going to just find on the store shelves and know what it is. It seems like you're going to have to do some marketing inside of your target demographic to educate them about the usefulness of this product. And I was just wondering if you guys had thought through that or had a plan in place for that.
It's a simple answer, no.
What has stopped you from doing that?
I can't give you an answer to that.
Is there a way that those are stackable for shipping and packaging, or can you design them to where they would be stackable?
If you take them apart, they would be stackable left and right.
Have you guys put together a value proposition? So you talk about how you can save labor costs, and you've talked about the time estimate to do it the old way and do it the new way. Have you actually put figures to that? Have you, done a couple of simulations of what it actually takes to do the wood system versus your system?
Haven't actually done that. I'm in the process of starting a video where I'm going to have one of my daughters race 3 carpenters and have 2 side-by-side walls. They come in. I'll purposely set them up where every space is a different size, and so that we will actually have then a fact and a figure as to someone that has never been on a construction site before against 3 carpenters, one gathering material, bringing it in, taking out nails, screws, scraping it clean, one of them measuring and the other one cutting, and then the 2 of them going back, putting them in, and hopefully not getting out of sequence. That's another thing that hurts. You go along there and 14 and a half, 14 and 5/8, 14 and a quarter, 14 and 3/4, and all of a sudden he puts one in there that's 14 and a half and draws a stud up, then the next one doesn't fit, and so on and so forth. So.
Okay, awesome. And just to expand on that a little bit, he said like a value proposition. Do you have like a cost associated with putting in one right now with a standard 2x4? Because I know from a general commercial contractor perspective, if you're not doing 100 of these, if you're doing like 10,000, in like a large building, that would be an additional $60,000 cost. If you were going to take this into like a larger property, what's the cost of doing that, with 10,000 of these for your product versus, they've already got the labor there, they've already got the 2x4s there that they can cut. What is the real savings per stud that they're going to, per block that they're going to be putting in?
Right. I mean, until we would actually have a solid price from a manufacturer, it's kind of hard to come up with exact difference. As far as going further east, further west, where you get into more and more union trades, where you're paying a carpenter $35 an hour or something like that. With this, you're going to have just one laborer that could put them in place and continue on, rather than possibly having 2 or 3 guys putting them in. Plus the safety factor too. It sometimes comes down to when is it where maybe it's not so much just about the cost, but it's about I'm building a better home, and matter of fact, I'm doing far better than my competitor does.
And do you think you would get some pushback from the unions then because of that?
I don't
Push.
think-
Like pushback meaning like they're saying, this is going to be costing us, our people so much time for, them not being able to put in these blocks.
I haven't really thought about that. I mean, I'm sure we possibly could.
Well, I'm wondering, you're talking about two completely separate paths. What you have up there is build it, figure it out, launch it, that whole road, but it almost sounds to me like you might be more interested in finding somebody to license it and pay you royalties and let them do all the heavy lifting. It would seem to me that you need to be very clear on which road you want to go down and not spend time working on one when you really want to be in the other.
Can I sign you up today, licensure?
Guys, well, thank you. We love inventors, especially people that come up with something original. I see on Where to Go Next that you're looking for a reliable manufacturer and to determine the best distribution channel. So people in the audience, keep that in mind, and their contact information is right there. We wrap up with the same question every week. How can we, as a community, help you?
We're looking for, number one, we would prefer to be able to license somebody to manufacture it and pay us royalties. If we had someone in the audience that wanted to take the product over, be an investor in the company, we would consider that as a second option.
Thank you guys very much. I'll take it. Okay, guys, while we take a couple minutes of transition, we'll just hit you with the weekly announcements. The Springfield Collective is going to meet tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. at the Coffee Ethic. Raise your hand. If you have any questions, you may talk to this lovely lady over here. MATA is also going to be the second Thursday, as it is every month, which is the 14th, 4:30 p.m., and that's going to be right here. And we have something special for you today. Ginger, you want to stand up for us here? Tara at Raw Marketing and Ginger, her colleague here, are nice enough to donate some tickets to the Price Cutter Charity Golf Tournament, which Friday, Saturday, I think, are free for anybody to attend, thanks to a generous sponsor out there. But Thursday, Friday are free to attend. Saturday, Sunday are they paid?
I am,
She has
yes.
plenty of tickets, limit 2 per person. You're going to find her at the back of the room at the end of the event today. So if you're interested, come see Ginger. How about just a round of applause for the generosity? Thank you very much. We appreciate that. Philip, are we good to go?
Almost, yeah. Give me 1 second here.
We're almost there. Folks, we had a lot of feedback on our last presentation, and I would strongly encourage lots and lots of feedback. We have presenters at all different stages of business, and they always appreciate your questions and your comments. Ready to wrap? Okay, without further ado, let me introduce Philip with the guitar stand.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Philip. I'm with React Products. Give me just 10 more seconds to get this switched over. And actually, while I switch this over, let me introduce you guys to one of my products. Here's a little commercial for it. After I switch the screen. All right. Thank you for your applause. We love that commercial. We know it can be a little racy for some audiences. However, in the world of musicians, we deal with that stuff. So before I get started, I actually want to thank my dad. So this is our first time presenting together, really doing anything together like this, and it's just so cool to see him take something and bring it from an idea to an actual prototype with some direction. I've seen him do it before. I didn't really appreciate what he did before with his other product until I got into product development myself and saw the sweat equity and the actual equity and everything that goes into it. So thank you, Dad, and this is cool. So my presentation today is mainly going to be on our one product, and our one product is called the Axe Handler, but it's a co-brandable product, so it fits into various niches. So the Axe Handler, as you can see, I have one on display there, is securely holding up that guitar. Probably a little bit more secure than Teach Me Six Strings guitar standing in front of the corner. It's been making me nervous for the last 20 minutes. But I'm convinced it's not going anywhere, but if anybody exhales too hard, it may tip over. So, but this one will be okay. And sorry, kind of going back and forth here. So the history on the Axe Handler is we are in 19 states. We're actually in over 70 stores now since I've not updated this PowerPoint. And we've got two different models, and they're shaped a little differently. So this one we have shaped actually like a guitar. And I'm going to actually pass these out for everybody to handle. So they're not a hockey puck. They actually do have some substance to them. They're made out of PVC-free plastic with a steel plate on the inside. And they're designed to stick to almost any surface. They work by using friction on the bottom. They are not magnetic. However, if you place any force against them on nearly any surface, they're not going to go anywhere. So I can sit here all day and wiggle this thing back and forth. And as you can see, the Axe Handler is sticking to the table greatly. And they've got an excellent price point, $17.95 and $16.95. We co-brand this as the SSRC, which is the strings out model that just has a different sticker on it. The SSRC stands for Sight In, Support, Rest, and Care. It's for firearms. So if, this is Missouri, I don't need to show of hands, but okay, we all know what firearms are. We have hunters that have probably laid their shotgun on their tailgate and have had it fall over. There's an application there for it. It's a great cleaning stand because they stand up vertically. So here's an example of that. Stands up vertically. You can sight in a pistol. Please don't be offended in today's politically accelerated climate. This is just a finger. But I can hold a pistol and sight in a pistol, and it's going to accurately sight it in for me and hold it nice and steady and handle the recoil. So we've had that tested. I'm currently looking for distributors for that market. We've not broken into that yet. Anybody know anybody at Brass Pro? I need to talk to you guys. So I would like to go over there today while I'm in town. We've gotten a lot of great feedback just from the Axe Handler. It's where we started. It's been the core of our business. We have 12,000 fans on Facebook. That's been our marketing for that. And you know, we're supposedly some bands use us on their tour buses and things, but we've gotten a lot of great marketing from Facebook. We're looking for small independent retailers. We don't want to do MAP pricing for the Axe Handler. However, when it comes to our SSRC or our medical version, my dad's canes were actually being supported on the table by one. We have its own label for that. And if you look closely, you'll notice that if you've got a business that you would like to use the real estate of that product, we can brand it for you as well, and our name doesn't need to be on there. We do have other products as a company, mainly in the music market. We've been trying to expand our catalog to get out into other distributors. Part of the problem with being a manufacturer and you want to pick up distributors and you've got one SKU, they laugh at you out the door because they can't order enough, and you've got to get some more SKUs out there. So we've actually designed another guitar stand for stage use that'll hold any guitar. And it was designed by Frank Hannon of Tesla. He's been working with us to bring that to market. So we've had a lot of fun partying with musicians, but now it's time to get serious and get the volume that we need. And that's why I came here today to meet with you guys. So with that being said, I'll go ahead and open it up for questions.
Tell me about developing the product. You invented this on a napkin somewhere and then decided to start making
It was
it
invented Thanksgiving one year, and essentially it took off from there. It literally was written on a napkin at a Thanksgiving dinner between my business partner, who's in Arizona, and that's how it came to fruition. And then from that process, it went from a wood block to a CNC aluminum block which we use to actually make the final design mold. And then after testing mold after mold and tooling after tooling and tens of thousands of dollars, we had our first tool. So once we figured it out the first time, we duplicated it for the redesign, which became the multi-purpose strings out version. And so our company being debt-free, but we do own all of our own tooling. So we have a patent attorney that has been crucial in getting us to market as well. That's a partner in the company.
You manufactured it here in the States?
We do. We make everything. It's actually out of Phoenix, Arizona is where we make it. So, but we potentially may be moving our manufacturing here to Missouri. So,
awesome.
Yeah, we started in Arizona, and then my wife got a job at University of Missouri, and that's why I came in from Columbia today.
Okay.
But Missouri, the business climate here is looking really good. So, yeah.
So I've played shows before where I'll be playing and actually knock over the guitar, like another guitar, and nothing says professional like knocking over a guitar. So I was wondering, do you guys have a plan for like the tripod stands that maybe would have more weight on it at the bottom? Because I saw that one, and I don't know if it's very, from a musician standpoint, like it's kind of looks bulky. I don't know if you guys are getting close to bringing that one to market, or what's your plans?
So the picture that I had up there, is that the one you're talking about? Yeah, that's going to be a stage-only stand, and the design purpose behind that is so if you're a musician and you switch from electric to acoustic, whichever one you decide to have held, you can just walk up to it and play, and it's articulated right to where you want it. That's the main purpose of it. It's not to save space or anything like that. This stand is designed to keep in your pocket or your guitar case, and if you're playing in a tight gig and you want to throw one on your amp, you know, you can just lay your guitar safely against your amp and not have it fall over. Did I understand your question?
Yeah, I was just wondering if, like the normal tripod one, if you put like something like this in the bottom of each of those, I think you might have something there too.
Oh, to secure the feet?
Right.
Okay. Like as grippers? Okay. Well, we love talking to musicians that have ideas, so we could talk about that. However, if you go to our YouTube channel, we've done testing videos with those stands, and we've swung weighted balls and everything at guitars. If you're a musician, you'll cringe how badly we abuse these guitars, and those stands aren't really as safe as you think they are, even compared to, you know, this, which is just more of a Band-Aid when in a fix, is actually more secure in a lot of cases than those standard stands that the industry's been using.
So tell me how you validated that product. You went with guitars first. Obviously, you talked to some band members, and then you made some videos to reach out to the public. Tell me what sounds like you kind of guerrilla marketed it at first, and then you leveraged media channels and how that all worked into your product.
So a quick little story to answer that. So yeah, exactly. We did some guerrilla marketing with the guitars. And then all of a sudden we got an email with a video from a guy in Iraq who had his rifle in the war actually being used. He was supporting it with this and actually supporting the barrel of his gun on it. We're like, wow, here we go. So let's throw another sticker on there, and now we can co-brand it for that. So it's been mainly a lot of feedback and good ideas from our fans that have bought them for their guitar that have helped our company progress along.
That's great. Now, have you led some kind of campaign with YouTube where you're trying to really push out and then receive the comments or get some kind of validation there?
We have. So we've got a full YouTube channel with all kinds of testing videos, reviews from users. We've done a lot of contests, and so we've mainly grown this company from social media.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Got a question for you, two questions really. Have you considered manufacturing this in a color? Because one, A, black is the easiest thing to lose.
Mhm.
And two, from the stage, if the audience can see something in color, they see what your product is. If it's black, they just see them laying it up against the amp and don't know what the heck they're laying it against.
We have, and that's a really great point. And we can make it in any color because the thermoplastic comes in an assortment of colors. The only thing you can't do is we can't do like a camouflage swirl because they all come together, but we can do one color. We've thought about doing anything from autism support ones that would be that light blue color to breast cancer awareness, which would be the pink. We've thought about doing a glow-in-the-dark version, thermoplastic that actually glows in the dark. However, none of them have come through to fruition because we didn't have the volume to make it happen. It doesn't cost any more for us to do it, but if we're going to run a series, we want to get the most for our dollar that way. So to combat that, we've actually, with some of the ports on the bottom, we've done everything from put small LED lights in there to where they shine down on stage so that you could see them. We've talked about doing glow-in-the-dark stickers instead of all the way glow-in-the-dark products. But it's a really customizable product, and our manufacturing options aren't limited. So it just depends on the right person, but I think that those are really great ideas that we'd like to see in the future.
Hi, I had a question about selling it online. Two-part question. Do you sell it yourself through a website?
We do.
Okay.
So we sell it online at axehandler.com.
Uh-huh.
It's also, we're on eBay and Amazon.
Cool, cool. So how do you, as part of your marketing strategy with this through social media, how do you balance pushing people to local retailers while creating brand awareness, but also trying to convert people through sales through your online sales channel?
So that's been a really tough balance because our big thing with our retailers is being true to them and growing our business that way, especially since we really cater to the independently owned music stores. Our heart and passion is really with them. We actually, with this product, we made promises that we will not go to a distributor that will put us into Guitar Center. Somebody laughed, they're a musician who did that. Yeah, okay. So as stupid as that sounds, because they've got great distribution, they're going to use their buying power to undercut everybody else and undercut our independent stores. So what we do on our website, and if you go to our website to buy it, actually the big green button to buy now, instead of being drawn to that, it says find one in your area. And then if it's not in your area, put in your zip code and tell us your favorite store. We'll send you a free axe handler. Just give us a lead to the store you want us to carry in, and then we'll contact that, or you'll go pick it up from them with a voucher.
Where did you develop that strategy?
I just came up with that.
Made it up? Okay,
Yeah, I was like,
great.
we gotta
Awesome.
put focus on the independent stores.
It's working though?
We've gotten a couple.
Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, for you guys obviously this is a very tech savvy room. You guys know that the more hoops that a customer has to jump through online, so that's a lot of hoops. And so there's nothing nefarious about the information we want. We just need to know your area and your favorite store. So we're not going to email you to death. We just want to get in your favorite store.
So looking forward, do you have a game plan for distribution avenues outside of just your online presence that you've got?
Yes.
And if so, what are they,
Well,
and what would that entail for someone in that music industry that has that private music store?
Okay,
What
so
would that entail for them in regards to?
so specifically just the music industry or all the way around? Okay. So our goal with the music industry, our pricing model is going to stick standard with the guitar stand. We really feel as though I've currently been working with the SBTDC to get into government procurement. And so, because I see with the canes and crutches, that's a possible VA hookup. I see law enforcement using the SSRC or military using the SSRC. I need to be in that GSA catalog. So that's one strategy. The other strategy is getting into a distributor that's either with Bass Pro or have Bass Pro handle it directly and put Bass Pro Shop label on it and buy direct from us. So we're really hoping for a large distributor, and then we're really open to nearly any option if somebody, we almost had an investor that was going to get us into a large box store for sporting goods. It fell through, but for a small investment on his part, he would have full rights to sell the SSRC exclusively. And so we think that that was a good strategy, but we just haven't found the right person yet or the right distributor. But we're looking.
So it sounds like social media is a pretty critical part of your strategy. You mentioned 12,000 fans on Facebook. How much time would you typically spend, or your company spend daily in social media? And do you have someone full-time or part-time allocated to that? And then what's the end game, or like what's the goal for growth there?
Well, the goal with social media really is to make it a viral product. I want guys that are out gigging to do Instagrams and things, showing their stage setup with the axe handler there. I want to get that viral growth. As for how we built our client base was, it's been myself and then my partner, really my partner, taking 5-6 hours a day a lot of times, running various contests more on Facebook. It's where we started and our core group was. Everything from show tickets to axe handlers, but we had such a great core of contests going on there while staying within Facebook rules, and then just genuinely treating people on social media as close as we can to the best customer service that they would get in the store. And so we've actually, I don't have a picture of it on my slide, we've got the Axe Handler Army, and we called it that. We had some trolls in Facebook one day, and our whole fans just attacked them, like, you cannot badmouth this company, their product, it's awesome. And so we coined the term Axe Handler Army from that. And so it's been a great experience using social media, although since I'm somewhat of a specialist in it, I don't think that's the growth that we're gonna ultimately get. I need to get a solid distributor. I need to be right on that impulse shelf in a big box store to get the volume that I need.
Have you considered a guitar manufacturer like Fender and branding Fender and using them as a distribution?
Fender is based in Scottsdale, Arizona, right down the road from our manufacturing facility. Who's got the guitar-shaped axe handler? That is a Fender Stratocaster body. We took that with a Fender logo onto it, set it on Fender's desk, and they said, nope, we don't want to put our name on it. We're like, oh, really? So yes, we have. And actually, we, in the last 48 hours, have been in talks with ESP Guitars. And they're the 5th largest manufacturer of guitars, and we're in direct contact with their CEO. And he's had an axe handler on his desk for 2 years, and he's loved it. He's just never thought twice about it. We actually found him on LinkedIn, and he's like, I know your product. I got one right here. And so hopefully he'll see the value in that, and maybe we can actually do a custom body for his guitars, and that may go somewhere.
So a quick comment here. Do you think that a really good, and kind of a question, do you think orange would be a good seller for hunters? Because I'm sure that there are a lot of people here that think if you're propping up a gun on it, hunters are attracted to orange. The more safety, the better for those
Absolutely.
guys, so.
I really think it would be. However, the problem with the thermoplastic, and it's kind of like any soft plastic, after a while, if it's not black, it gets dirty and grungy. And so especially hunters, they're not clean when they're out in the field. So if we can show the sales through our black color first, and then do an addition of orange and kind of beta test that, but we gotta have the distributorship there first.
So other than Brian, go ahead and take.
Chad, sorry to cut you off there. I'm curious, you talked about how the product can fit different niches and be marketed to different segments. I'm wondering, you talked a lot about the guitar. Which one do you think has the most value proposition for your company, and which one are you going to put the most resources toward? And to that end, who are your distributors that you're looking at strongly? Is it are we focusing on guitars, Bass Pro, if we can get you in the doors today? Is that the right angle? What's the long-term growth strategy in which market?
I would say the product with the most viability for us, and this is just my opinion, we're having a great time with the guitars and the musicians. However, musicians don't have a lot of money. $20 or $16.95 can sometimes feel like a lot to them. However, I really think the growth for our company in the future is going to be the firearm brand.
I guess usability is the most important thing here. Have you ever thought about integration into the cane or the guitar so it doesn't have to be something you take with you? It's like a capo. You hang it on your stock head. Instead, you just pull it off, set it on the table, you're ready to go.
Well, there's probably some ideas there. However, it's small and portable enough to where it does fit in your pocket or your guitar case to where it can travel with you. I don't know how you'd really latch it onto your guitar, and if a musician would want to, because it would throw the balance off on that point, you know. I mean, yeah. So,
how big is your organization, and on the road ahead, how does it grow?
Our organization is small. There's 4 partners. We all have a different specialty. We're all participating partners, so we've invested, and we have pretty much worked for free since the inception. So that's why there's a lot of room for growth, and we've been able to essentially use the lean startup principles to help get us where we're at, to afford the tooling and everything that we need to be.
Maybe elaborate on 1 or 2 of those lean principles that you think came in handy the most.
Okay. Well, we started out of an incubator very similar to this. It was out of Phoenix. Actually, my partner was the administrator of that office, and so that's how we got started. So our office space and our warehousing was a very minimal fee, and then everything has been very grassroots. A lot of networking to get us into our manufacturing. So it's just been a lot of honest questions to the right people to make that happen.
Can you tell us, you mentioned bringing your manufacturing to Missouri, and that Missouri was increasingly attractive to you. Can you tell us a little bit about that and what it would take to bring the manufacturing here, and what kind of manufacturer you're looking for?
We need a manufacturer with a large enough press, and a plastics manufacturer, really. Most of them have what we need. We have the tools. So the tooling themselves are just 2 large tools that go into the press, and that's it. So essentially for us to move our manufacturing, a little bit of paperwork, and to ship to ship our 2 tools here to Missouri to wherever they need to be.
So do you know of any potential manufacturers in Columbia or Springfield?
I've talked to one in Moberly, and otherwise I haven't spent a whole lot of time on that. I'd love to research more, so if anybody knows any manufacturers here in Missouri, we'd be interested in talking to you.
Yeah, there's Diversified up there in Nixa that does a lot of car parts.
In Nixa?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Good leads. We appreciate that. So before we wrap up, we've got just a couple minutes here. You mentioned that you were in the incubator. Other than low overhead, what did you really feel like the incubator added? How did it add value to your organization or accelerate the process?
Well, the incubator always had somebody interesting coming in that knew somebody.
Sure.
And so that was the biggest benefit. So you may be there drinking coffee, socializing, wasting time, surfing the internet. However, most of those days somebody came in that you needed to connect with, and so that was a huge benefit there. So
Are you insinuating we spend too much time drinking coffee and socializing?
I'm insinuating I do, yes. As for anybody else, I don't know.
I guess do we have any more questions from the audience?
It's always about you add value once you come up with something, then you find other values for it. And I'm wondering if you have any other products that this would apply to that you could expand from the guitar and or make the item to be multifunctional. You can do it as a gun or a guitar, apparatus.
Right. So the only thing that I changed with it for its multifunction is I put a different label on it. So here's the label for the canes and crutches. So it's called the Easy Claw. You know, it doesn't quite look as industrial as the SSRC, but it's for that market. I can't think of any other way to make it more multifunctional than that, since they have so many great uses. I was thinking the other day, you know, Bass Pro would be a good one, because how many people fish from their boat dock, or their, you know, they've got a railing in front of them and they lay their pole against it. Well, they walk away and a fish bites it and their pole's on the ground being dragged away. Well, if that was on the rail, they could just lean their pole into it. So again, it doesn't have to have our name on it. The Bass Pro name would be just great. So, yeah.
How many units have you shipped this year? What do you expect by the end of the year?
We've shipped just over 1,000 units this year out to our smaller independent stores. It's been a tough market. We're building great relationships. However, you know, they order cases of 6 or 12 at a time. And we weren't this year. We were going to go. We went last year to both Anaheim and Nashville.
Before we wrap up with our last question, what's the best way to get a hold of you for leads and stuff like that?
I think right here.
Here we are.
Yep.
As we wrap up each week, how can we as a community help you?
Well, guys, I need distributors. Potentially a manufacturer. I need more product fans, more product users, and I can't think of any other way you can help me other than those methods would be the best. So I really appreciate everybody's time this morning. Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, but I need my axe handlers back. So.
Good deal. Maybe we can get at least one sold today. So anyways, thank you all for coming out. Several of our presenters have gotten, distribution seems to be a reoccurring pattern. That's always kind of the name of the game, sales and distribution, whatever the product or service is. A mentor of mine, a local guy here the other day says, you know, there's only one mousetrap at the end of the year gets the best product award. And besides that, it's really simply just a matter of sales and distribution. So if you guys know somebody in Bass Pro or Cabela's, anybody that could help these gentlemen out, I think the equity thing and the licensing on the first product is definitely the way to go with that. Let them know. And we will be here next week, as we are every week. If you have some presenters that could benefit from this crowd, send them our way, and we will be here. So thank you all for coming. Thanks.